If you're looking for a layered mystery with complex characters, I have just the book for you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Eclectic Reads. A special welcome to all of you who have subscribed after my most recent video. Today, I would like to review Still Life by Louise Penny. This is the first book in the Inspector Armand Gamache series, set in Three Pines in the province of Quebec. This is not the book that I would recommend to cozy mystery readers. Yes, it's set in a small town, but there are some unsettling elements in this book and also some profanity. I only mention this because I know that some people follow me because of the cozy mysteries that I read from time to time, and because the cover itself seems to suggest that it would be perfect for readers of only cozy mysteries. But if, like me, you read all kinds of mysteries and you really like thought-provoking, layered mysteries, then I definitely recommend Still Life. Inspector Armand Gamache is chief inspector at the Sûreté du Québec. He is accompanied by his right-hand man, Jean-Guy Beauvoir, and a new agent, Agent Yvette Nichol, who is quite an interesting character. And I do want to talk a little bit about her. I feel like when I've watched reviews of this book, there hasn't been a lot of mention of Nichol, and I want to talk about Nichol. But first, what is this mystery about? At the beginning of the story, we have Jane Neal, a retired schoolteacher who meets with her best friend Clara Morrow to tell her that she has finally decided to enter a painting into an art festival. This is a juried art festival, so her painting has to be approved, but Clara has no doubts that her painting will be approved because nobody has ever seen Jane's work, but for that reason, it is believed that her work will be outstanding. We also come to learn that Jane caught some of her former students, teenage boys, assaulting the gay men who run a B&B and diner in Three Pines. She knew who they were, even though they were disguised. She called them by name. So when Jane Neal's body is found in the woods in an apparent bow hunting accident, the reader wonders whether her death might somehow be connected to those teenage boys, or maybe her painting, especially since the title is Still Life. Now, the title. Still Life, I think, is a perfect title to capture the story because, of course, there is a painting at the heart of the story, a painting that is quite controversial. When they finally reveal Jane Neal's painting, many people are appalled. They think that this painting, it's like something a 3-year-old would draw. And yet, some judges actually thought that there was something in the painting. They couldn't put their finger on it, but something that shimmered. And in a similar way, Still Life is, on the surface, this picture perfect town. But beneath the surface, there is something else. And it's only once Inspector Gamache starts meeting everyone that we see all the secrets. And of course, Still Life refers to Jane Neal's body, which is now a still life because she's dead. I loved the other literary elements in the story, not only in the writing style and the brilliant character work, but also in the use of poetry. One of the characters, named Ruth, is a poet, and her poems are interspersed throughout the book. But of course, we need to talk about Agent Nichol. Nichol is new to the force, and she wants to prove herself. And I never felt like Gamache or Beauvoir gave her a chance. She did make an initial good impression when she brought coffee to Gamache. But of course, once she starts to speak, then it's like, oh, she's not a team player. She says the wrong things. And indeed, she does. We start to see her put her foot in her mouth and say things that are very inappropriate. But I also felt like she wasn't given a chance. And initially, in my Goodreads updates, I thought it was misogyny. I was like, here is this good old boys club, and they don't welcome Nichol. They want her to just be quiet and take notes of whatever the brilliant Inspector Gamache has to say. And so that was really irritating to me, and I actually considered putting the book aside because I was annoyed. But I'm glad that I persisted because I kind of came to see Nichol as somewhat of an interesting foil to Gamache. On the one hand, they have character traits that are very different. And yet at the same time, there is something that is similar between the two. We see this when Inspector Gamache is at one point taken off the case by his supervisor for disobeying a direct command. He isn't being a team player here when he doesn't follow direct orders. We also learn that, like Nichol, Gamache also struggles with anxiety, also wants to prove himself. And I think that that portrayal of Gamache as more complex than he might appear to the villagers also humanizes Nichol and makes her out to be a much more interesting character. Now, my understanding is that in the later books, she is going to have more of a background role. And I think that's probably for the best. Because, yes, Nichol does things that sabotage the case, and it is infuriating. I do also think that she was set up for failure. I probably also sympathize with her because she reads as neurodivergent. Some people, the few people online who've actually talked about Nichol, suspect that she might be autistic because she reads things and situations quite literally. I find her character really interesting, but again, I think that it's also how her character is in relation to Gamache that really made me intrigued by this mystery. Now, what about the case of Jane Neal? I thought it was very satisfying. The conclusion itself brought all the various strands of the story together, and it all made sense at the end, making me desperate to continue the series. I know that there is a new book coming out in what is now a long-running series. I think the book is coming out in October, so I will certainly be continuing the series, and I think I'm going to be buying all of the books, which is something that I very rarely do when it comes to mysteries. But I really enjoyed Still Life and I gave it 5 stars. And like I said, if you're someone who likes a layered mystery with great characterization, you're okay with complex characters, even protagonists, if you're interested in a story that looks at the ugliness that often exists in these very insular towns, I definitely recommend this book. Let me know if you read this book. Please, no spoilers in the comments, but do let me know how you feel about Agent Nichol and Gamache and Beauvoir. And what are your thoughts? I really want to know. I know that there is also a mini series about Still Life, I think. So I don't usually watch adaptations, but now I really do want to see how this book is adapted. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.